not because you're cursing them or seeking revenge, but because they broke a spiritual rule they didn't even try to understand. They failed a divine exam they didn't know they were taking, and now the universe is collecting the fee. What they thought was a harmless attack was actually them walking headfirst into karma with their eyes wide shut. They should have left you alone. Number two, what they called weakness was actually sacred restraint. They assumed you were weak because you didn't clap back. You didn't expose them. You didn't destroy their name when you had every right to. You stayed quiet when they lied on you, gossiped and played with your peace. They mistook your silence for softness and your kindness for naivety. But what they completely missed is that you weren't weak. You were holding back a force they wouldn't have survived. You weren't scared of them. You were giving them space to correct themselves before the universe stepped in. You knew what you were capable of. You knew what your words could do. You knew that if you moved in your full power, their world would crumble. But you chose restraint, not because they were worth it, but because you refused to let them drag you into the mud with them. That was sacred discipline. They saw it as a chance to go harder against you. And now they're paying for not knowing the difference. What they thought was silence was actually divine mercy in action. You were protecting them from the consequences they were begging to face. Every time you chose to walk away, they thought they'd won. They had no clue they were being spared. The storm didn't hit back then because you stood in between them and what was coming. You were the pause between action and consequence. They thought you were broken, but the truth is, you were the break, the gap between them and divine judgment. Now they're learning the hard way. The karma they're dealing with isn't random. It's everything they asked for when they kept pushing, kept provoking, kept disrespecting the sacred boundaries around your spirit. You weren't weak. You were the calm before the spiritual storm. They read your silence wrong, and now that you've stepped out of the way, karma is doing what you refused to do. It's not just correcting them, it's reminding them who you were all along. And suddenly all that boldness they had when you were silent, gone. Because now they realize you weren't quiet out of fear. You were quiet out of power. Number three, their karma is customized because the crime was spiritual theft. They didn't just betray you, they tried to take something that wasn't theirs to touch. It wasn't just your time, your peace, or your energy. It was your spiritual identity. They tried to copy, steal, imitate, and manipulate pieces of your soul like it was up for grabs. And in doing so, they committed a kind of theft that the universe never overlooks, spiritual theft. That's the kind of offense that karma takes personally. When you're chosen, you carry something that can't be bought, borrowed, or faked. It's encoded in your being.